No,
Oh, they aren't.
they weren't, they were gonna try, but I'm gonna do their spiel for
Well,
them.
we don't have to have them here. We can consider this. Well, given that it is 6 o'clock, well, almost 6 o'clock, I guess, close enough. We'll call to order the Old Town Planning Board meeting for June 9th, 2015. And the next item is the approve the minutes of our last meeting, which was way back in February 10th, 2015. Did everyone receive the minutes as mailed?
Yes, and I make a motion that we approve them as presented.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Thank you, Dave.
Yes, sir.
Once again, very thorough. We appreciate that.
And of course, I waited till, February.
Well, yeah, we didn't have any other meetings, so, what are you gonna do? Okay, so the item on the agenda is to, regarding a request from Bruce and Vanessa Sherlin to relocate the zoning boundary line so that their entire property will be zoned C3. The property is located at 637 Stillwater Avenue, tax map 18, lot 21, case number 1519. And a small portion of their property, as you may have noticed from the maps, is zoned R5, which seems odd to begin with. But can you give us any idea of the history of this, Dave?
I don't know when the R5 was created. So
That's multifamily homes.
That's correct. That's Wind Station, Whistle Way is up in that area.
Right.
If you look at the second page of that, you'll see where the cul-de-sac goes in for Whistle Way. The housing is all to the northerly side of that, northeasterly side.
You can see
westerly
that
side.
on the photo you provided. So then there's no earthly reason why we shouldn't, it's just my opinion. Does anybody else have any concern about that?
Are there any abutters that have concerns? Do you know, Dave?
No, I sent out to the owners of those properties and didn't hear back from anyone.
So the potential is that at some point, the tractor store might want to, Expand.
Or a new use go in there.
and they should be able to do that under C3 zoning.
Correct.
There's no reason to reserve that for potential residential, multi-family, or, well, it's multi-family, right? It's what it is now.
Right. No,
So
that
wouldn't make any
area,
sense.
that area in there is pretty well built out, and there may even be some topography issues or wetland issues, because if you look on the third page of the maps, out behind the storage units, there's a huge wetland out behind there. It doesn't depict it on here, but there's a large wetland, and then it goes back to upland behind there, but
Well, of course, with all of the other build out there, it doesn't, I mean, I haven't walked out there, I didn't go out there, but it seems like it probably upland.
for density purposes, I believe that the complex at Whistle Way has met their density. So I don't ever see them expanding on the other side of that cul-de-sac. I don't
Well,
think
even
there's
if they
enough-
did, they don't own the property,
That's correct.
and,
If something were to be expanded or a change in use, if it was it's going to be something that was going to create a lot of visual or sound, we could always impose some kind of a buffer along that zone line. We have that ability within the ordinance.
and I suppose if again, just thinking, again, why shouldn't we do this? Say if, they wanted to put additional units on the other side of the cul-de-sac towards their property, and they wanted to, say, buy that piece that wasn't developed now, then they could petition us to zone it back to R5.
Go back.
There'd be no reason for us to say no to that,
No.
assuming they had the property and all of that. Does that make sense, everybody?
It's kind of- go ahead.
I was gonna go even the other way, is why don't we move the line out to the Thistle Way, or Whistle Way? Move the C3 line, I mean.
To run parallel to that,
Right.
to the road?
265, lot 260, 265 or 285?
265.
I mean, there can't be more than 40 feet between that lot line and the road, is there?
Probably not.
That's in R5.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think we just move the,
So we come across the back of Bruce's tractor and then just run parallel,
with the road.
That would give,
but how far?
I'd say all the way.
I'm a little concerned about that, because they may have utilized that area as an R5, not to exceed their density for the maximum build-out of that, of those apartments. We might make them non-conforming.
well, and as far as I mean, they own that lot, but the other lots along Stillwater Avenue are all built out right to their boundaries, except for the one we're considering tonight.
Right, there, and when we rezoned Stillwater Avenue, that's kind of what we did. We went along lot lines as opposed to.
Yeah, why would they take a chunk out of a lot? That just,
And I was cautious when we got down towards the mobile home parks to, as we were running the C3 down there, not to encroach into their park, so we kinda came down and went around. That was the same with the church and the rectory on the other side of the road. Try not to make things non-conforming.
yeah, well, I,
I think pretty easy.
okay, was there anybody else that has any questions or concerns? If so, if not, then we ought to do the suggested motion. Be the shortest meeting on record here.
I'll make a motion to recommend to the city council that the lot dividing the C3 district and the R5 district be relocated so that all of the lot is shown on tax map 18, lot 21 is zoned C3.
We have a second? Lena seconds. Any further discussion or concerns? All in favor? None opposed? Okay, so that was easy.
Bless you.
Any old new business?
Just an update, as you and Ted know, and Phil, we had our second meeting for the Comprehensive Plan Committee. That's going very well. People are getting very involved. We have another meeting June 25th, and then that'll be it for this summer. We'll start reconvening in September. But our consultant, I think, is doing a very good job. She's very enthusiastic.
Oh, yeah, she is.
and-
She's very enthusiastic. So, you know, and again, for a comprehensive plan, you know, the key is to get enough people who, you know, who might have an interest in, you know, having input. And she's got a pretty good plan to gin up at least some interest in it.
Yes, in September, we're gonna have a 3-day event where there's gonna be 3 groups the first day, 2 groups the second day, and then the third, and there'll be some evening meetings. And then the third evening, they'll roll out what their vision is for this comp plan, or our vision. But she's doing a good job.
Okay.
I took her on a tour of Juniper Ridge
Yeah,
when she was up here, yeah. She was quite impressed.
well, yeah, it is.
She really liked Mud Pond. She thought that area was very nice. That was one of the things we talked about, and I know I've discussed it with you folks, with the seasonal residential out there, trying to, it's, the language of the ordinance as far as acreage size and square footage for lots can remain the same. It's just when people go to get loans, they see seasonal residential, and no matter how I write the letter, they're leery about
Should you,
issuing the loan, or the loan may have a higher interest rate because it's seasonal.
do you think we should change that wording in the,
I think,
Zone?
I think the zone needs to be called something different, and I'm not quite sure what. That'll be up to the comp plan committee, but,
yeah.
because it does make it difficult for some people to,
Yeah, I mean,
get
that-
financing.
if it's just a matter of what we call it, so,
yeah,
like
we'll
you said,
keep all the
everything's the same.
requirements the same, but
It'll still be an R4, we'll just call it something.
it'll be 40,000 square foot for year-round.
I mean, from a
don't-
banking point of view, what,
Local lenders, it's not an issue, but it's the big ones that sell them and whatnot, that's a problem.
Yeah.
what would
showing up,
make
so.
some of those bigger lenders, you know, what would calm them down? Is there,
It's, you know, in their mind, it's not a year-round property. It's seasonal. It can't be lived in 12 months out of the year,
But if we take the seasonal references out of it, would that calm them down?
probably. They don't care about the zone,
No.
so.
Now, there will be some out there that probably, well, a handful that will be seasonal. They may have holding tanks or,
That, but the definition of that shows up, you know, during the, you know, when they have the appraisal done and stuff. I mean, it becomes a seasonal one based on what's on it, not the definition of the place
the
that it's in.
district.
Right. Yeah,
Okay, so.
yeah. Like, we don't, when we loan out there, we don't,
Well, yeah, you
we
know.
don't look at it, but we know,
Yeah.
you know.
So-
Yeah, it's-
You know, it-
There's a certain amount of risk, right?
Right.
So if someone isn't engaged with the property 12 months out of the year and it's partially vacant,
Right.
the amount, you know, if something happens to it in the response time, just from, you know, people making poor choices and breaking in. So part of that is the inherent risk of having a property it's not vacant because well, I guess it is. They're choosing not to live there for a portion of the year,
Okay.
and it's an unprotected property at that point.
Because how many people do that, though? Almost everybody's out there year-round, aren't they?
Well, I
they
think
are,
that's
yeah.
Steve's
As I
point.
say, they're a dozen.
They're more concerned about the fact that they're not allowed to live there year-round.
Right.
Because they're a seasonal, it's zoned, or not zoned, but it's called seasonal.
It's called
and-
seasonal residential, and there are some lots out there that you can't get a septic system on, so those.
Right.
Those are
As soon as you set a holding tank as opposed to a full septic system, that is a seasonal, unless if you have 20,000 square feet, you can get 80 feet
Right.
from the water and a butter's wells, you can apply for a conversion, seasonal conversion.
And I think that's Steve's point. He's a local lender, so
Right.
he understands the implications of a seasonal property
Right.
versus a larger organization who they don't
Right.
necessarily understand the nuances of a seasonal property.
That's correct. They're reading
Right,
what
and
it's zoned as.
Fannie and Freddie likely don't allow for any kind of mud on the title, because it's probably on the deed, and, you know, they're not gonna, it's muddied, so therefore a buyer in Nevada is not gonna understand, you know, as they package them up and sell them.
Well, if there are
So-
some lots that, like you said, by the virtue of the fact that they can't get a septic system,
Those will always be seasonal lots.
so
Unless
how would we
somebody-
change the name without,
We don't have to change the name because we can address, and it is addressed in the ordinance now, that lot sizes under X amount would be considered seasonal. But again, if you can meet the criteria, and it's,
Right,
Right.
the septic system was what drives
and septic systems.
whether or not you can live there
a
year-round.
lot of people out there that are there year-round?
But septic system sizes have, with technology, have
Shrunk.
shrunk. So
Dramatically,
that which was, you know, impossible 30 years ago is possible now. So the definition shouldn't be designed based on the location. It should be on the the actual, what it is.
What's feasible on,
Right, what's feasible, because 30 years ago it wasn't, and now it is. So I think removing it makes a whole lot of sense if you
So,
can
so
figure the
we'll,
word
we'll,
out.
basically, it'll start with the comprehensive plan, and that we will recommend, you know, changing the definition of that zone.
yeah. And we'll take a look at what the language is and.
And
that
we,
may-
and we got no problem stating why, that basically.
Correct.
that
And
it's a-
I may take that where she's got the hot topics that she wants somebody to do a paragraph on.
Yeah, that'd be a good
I'll
one.
grab that one and work on that.
Okay, well, so, oh, I got an education, I didn't realize, you know, the
Not
ramifications
to
of it.
belabor, but where my camp is, it's considered seasonal. I have a holding tank. And they said there were no suitable soils. Well, I know that to be not true. They just didn't want to pay to pump it up, put concrete chambers in, and so I'm gonna go for a conversion, and then,
Right.
And that's all defined in the ordinance, or the zone, as far as the conversions are concerned?
that's the plumbing code.
That's the state plumbing code. Okay,
Yeah, they all intertwine at some point, and they all contradict at some point in time.
yeah, all right, well, that's interesting.
But I think cleaning up the labeling makes a whole lot of sense on our side. So, I support that.
But no, it's exciting. She's doing a good job. She's working hard for us, and
Yeah,
she likes it up here.
yeah, no, that,
She lived up here when she was younger. But that's it.
well,
for
good,
me.
well, I mean, this is the only business tonight. Anything else on the horizon you can see for the planning board?
Unfortunately, no.
Well, looks like we're gonna have a summer off.
I think so.
Okay, well,
I hate to say that, because I go back and I look at past records where you folks were seeing
Oh, yeah.
sometimes six different items.
oh yeah, no, we oftentimes are busy right through the summer, and it's been a problem before to, because people are on vacations or at camp, and so we've had trouble getting quorums in the summer especially. So, well, good, well, it won't be a problem this summer then.
Doesn't look like it.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
She's right on top of it tonight. Who's second?